with my two kids, Nate and Keely Swift of TJ Swift House. And this is a diagnosis training, actually part 2. And it doesn't matter if you didn't get part 1, either one, it'll go just fine. But what this is about is to help you hopefully understand people's behavior better. So in the psychology field, we give people diagnoses. And what has happened, unfortunately, it is put a cap on people and it limits people because they have this diagnosis. But really the intent of it, I believe the heart of it, was this diagnosis explains this behavior so that you don't get frustrated and that you don't have unrealistic expectations of people, but you can understand people better so you can have a better relationship with them and you can support them better. And so when I went to school, got my master's in counseling, I had this diagnosis training and I was like, oh, this would be so helpful if people understood why people do what they do. It's not personal. They're not trying to get you. It is part of their personality, part of their person. And so on this training, I want to talk to you about OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. And I want you to understand. Now there's a whole scientific, technical definition. That's not what this is about today. This is just strictly for you to understand that when somebody obsesses about something here, then it leads to a compulsive behavior. For example, if somebody is obsessing, I'm worried about germs, I'm worried about germs, I'm worried about germs, I'm worried about germs, and their head is just spinning, then what they do to try to get relief is compulsively wash their hands. Compulsively wash their hands. They're trying to relieve their head is what they're doing. And so when somebody obsesses, did I lock the door? 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 Okay, I'm not going to go to sleep until I get up and see if I lock the door. So they get up because that behavior hopefully will relieve their head. So people can have minor obsessive compulsive disorder with cleanliness of their house. And then they can have extreme obsessive compulsive disorder where it really profoundly affects their day. If you've ever seen the series Monk, he's a detective, but it profoundly affects his life, and he's got all kinds of paranoias things, and I think it's funny, it's really cute. But really, it can profoundly affect someone's life and debilitate them to where they can't work in mainstream or they couldn't go to school in mainstream because of it. But one thing I want you to know is not to fight it because it's very, very real for the person. For example, we had a gentleman that we supported for a long time, and I'm going to call him John. That wasn't his name. But when he had headphones on and he would rock, then he would get relief from his head. And so he would listen to all kinds of different music, but when he had headphones on and he would rock, he would get relief from his obsessiveness. So that was the compulsion that relieved his obsessiveness. Well, he would get rough with his little disc player sometimes, not on purpose, he just got rough, he'd drop it, or sometimes he'd throw it when he was frustrated, and he would break his disc player. And so we got into this place that was not helpful of trying to reason with him why he didn't have a disc player anymore was because he dropped it. And therefore, now you don't have a disc player. So sad, too bad. That's not going to help him. He has OCD. And so he's obsessing. He's obsessing about this disc player. And it's turning into arguments and sometimes physical altercations because he needs this disc player. So when we got in those power struggles with him, it always went bad. It always went bad. Now, you can't just in the middle of the night. You just can't anytime go buy a disc player. And sometimes he was out of money, but we just discovered it's just better for him to have a disc player. Even if he runs out of money, we will get him a disc player. But here's what would happen. When it did break and he could not go out and purchase one right there, rather than reasoning and debating with him why he doesn't have the disc player, it was so important that the staff empathize and say, oh man, I know you need that. You really do need that disciplinary. I know that helps you. I know that got you through the day. I feel for you. I am working on this. I am working on this. We are working on this. That you join in. That you commiserate with him, and that you empathize with him. That this is a big deal, because it's a big deal to John. And so with this OCD, when people have behaviors that try to relieve the obsessiveness, sometimes they're not healthy, and we're looking for another behavior. But rocking helps obsessiveness. That's a compulsive disorder that helps. Twiddling your fingers, patting, tapping, whatever it is that's releasing this energy, it's not about it getting on your nerves. It's not about you. It is about they're looking for ways of relief for the obsessiveness. So I just wanted to share that a little bit. And the other one that I wanted to talk to you about today was oppositional defiant disorder. And they give that disorder to people not because of any kind of physiological CAT scan or anything like that. They give that diagnosis to people who just cannot take direction, who just cannot say, you can't tell them no ever. And actually, no is not a great word for anybody, because it puts you in control and them feeling like they're going to fight for control. But this ODD diagnosis has mainly been given to youth growing up that got in trouble on a regular basis, couldn't behave in school, just continued on. And as we were studying this in counseling, they were saying that all kinds of behavior modification typically does not work for ODD, because in that person's mind, they believe they're bad. And so why try to be good? Why try to accomplish anything? Why try to please anybody? Because I'm bad. Everybody knows I'm bad. That's my reputation. I'm bad, so I'm going to be bad. And this is just kind of an unconscious decision, maybe conscious. I don't think so. So when they were teaching us how to help kids, how to help people with ODD, oppositional defiant disorder, they said the best solution, the best behavior modification that they had ever found was to give praise. Way to go. You put your socks on great. Hey, I didn't know you could tie shoes like that. I'm so glad that you just chose that outfit because you look awesome in this outfit. Anything that's changing their bad reputation to a good reputation starts to soften a little bit, starts to give them a little bit hope. Maybe I can do something right. Maybe there is something of value of me. Maybe I can be good every once in a while. And the more you reinforce you can be good, you can do good things, you can achieve, you can accomplish, the more you work. Now this is going to go against your brain, because when they're just acting stubborn and awful and cussing you out and mean, the last thing you want to do is say something nice about them. And I'm saying, don't say it in the midst of that. Wait for an opportunity for you to be able to say something nice and build on the nice and build on the good and build on the praise as much as you possibly can, and help them to see themselves different. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening. I'll be back.